Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. I just wanted to put out one more video just kind of talking about the global anniversary here. I think what we'll do with this is we're just going to kind of look at what's going to come throughout the rest of the anniversary. We haven't... you know what they actually still haven't do now that I'm thinking about it? Okay, they still haven't put Broly and Gogeta in the data, by the way. Okay. I mean, sure, they're acting like JP does, except, we've seen these units have existed for 6 months, the difference. Yeah, I just realized that. They still haven't done the global data download with Broly and Gogeta in it yet. Broly and Gogeta, by the way, release in 6 hours at 1 a.m. my time is when Broly and Gogeta are going to come out. Alright, so I guess obviously I'll do a video when their data download actually officially happens as well. But what I want to do is just talk about kind of the anniversary in general here, and a lot of the events and things that will come throughout the rest of the anniversary. Just kind of like a, a teaser what's to come. So if we take a look at it here, this is over here on JP. This is, again, the order of the units that came out with data downloads. So the JP anniversary was STR UI Goku up until STR Vegito. Now, Vegito and Buhan are already out on global. I mean, we've seen this talk of, EX part. I just think that there's just flat out not going to be an EX part. Oftentimes, the EX part gets completely twisted. The only time I feel like an EX part was ever actually a thing was the 7th anniversary, which included LR Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr., right? That was, and, every time these EX parts happen, that gets lifted from the anniversary and put out early on global, because Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. came out early on global. I don't think that there's going to be a replacement, because the EX part is not, like, actually a thing. It's just, like, they throw out, like, an extra character literally in the same data download as the next unit. Like, I think, like, if Global would get, like, an EX part, it's, like, like, an Easy 8 would happen at the same time that, like, God Topo. I think Topo will release sometime in early August. There's one more Dokkan Fest slot before Global and JP are going to be synced for each version, right? So, we'll see if that's, going to be something that's going to happen. Maybe they could do, like, Team Universe 7 and, LR Golden Frieza and 17 as the EX part EZAs. I mean, it's conceivable. I don't want to say it's impossible, but I'm just under the assumption that there is no EX part, right, as of right now for Global. So what we're looking at is STR UI Goku all the way to Evolution Blue Vegeta. This is going to be what the entire, roster of characters for the anniversary is going to look like. So the data download that we're going to be getting tonight for Global is going to be Gogeta, Broly, and then Golden Frieza, right? Golden Frieza, by the way, is a very solid banner unit. Golden Frieza, in my opinion, is a great example of what banner units should look like. Then there's going to be this trio of EZA characters. Broly and Paragus are solid. Bardock and Gine are solid. Broly, Chan, Lemo, I love, they've got a big fan base. I love cracking jokes, but they are very good. Definitely a strong villain. Like, villains needs help. So, Broly Chan Lemo fulfills a huge need for villains. That's the same thing with Broly, right? Even though Broly has flaws, which, I point out, Broly fulfills a huge need for villains. So, both Broly and Broly Chan Lemo are, big time. And then obviously we get into Blue Kaioken, Evolution Blue Vegeta. Remember, they're a great EZA. And then we get into the Part 2 stuff, Beast, Gammas, Krillin and Android 18, the free-to-play EZAs, and then the Part 3 EZAs. UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta have run Dokkan on JP in 2024, these two. If you guys look at almost any video, they're there every single time. Like, they're so incredible, so amazing. Anniversary EZAs like this, I just, like, every year, like, they're just going to be gods. Like, we could just expect it, that they're going to be crazy. So, next year, 7th anniversary LRs are going to be really nuts. So, that kind of goes over that. Again, looking at it right now, here's, like, kind of all the events. We got the Broly Dokkan event teaser. I do have the actual, campaign info. This is the grand finale of it after everything is already done, right? So eventually, you get the final stages to that. The Beerus event eventually gets EX skill orbs. Well, both Beerus... Oh, I actually already... Yeah, both Beerus and Frieza get EX skill orbs. Actually, to be fair, they do, and so does Beast and the Gammas, and so does Broly and Gogeta. Remember, all six of these characters get their own exclusive orbs. Gammas and Gogeta get it from this event right here, the Dragon Ball Super Movie Memorial, but, you know, what is Global calling it? Memorable Battles. If we jump in here, here's where some of these equips come from. I mean, I don't really encourage putting these on Gogeta. I don't know that raw defense and stuff. Like, unfortunately, Gogeta's a character that just like, if he's like winning for you, he's dodging. It's just kind of how Gogeta is. So like, it's just like UI Goku, like just give him full dodge. The Gammas though, their equips are certainly going to be very good, right? The Gammas, like rocking these is definitely going to be very solid for the Gammas. I think the Gammas are a character that could benefit from anything. Additionals, crits way less, and then dodge. The crits are not going to be winning you fights with the Gammas, considering how often they have built-in crit everywhere. Giving them crit is specifically for the standby. But yeah, it just there's orbs for all these different characters, right? There, of course, we have those which are always there. So remember that this big ticket, global players remember this, man. You know, if you get all the tickets, and you'll be able to summon on one of the anniversary banners a 77 unit multi. So, you know, maybe your plan, a lot of people are talking about going all in on Beast. Seems like a very common thing that people want to do, right? Which, you know, certainly is a good idea. But, you know, you could try and get yourself Gogeta or the Gammas or Broly or something like that, you know, with these tickets. Again, it's a 77 unit multi, so I'd say chances are good. You know, you could get good stuff from there. So there, of course, are the 4 banners right there. By the way, part 2 for Global, I think... God damn it, I hate the new calendar on this. I think part 2 for Global is going to be the 29th, is when Beast and the Gammas are going to show up. And then I think the 5th is when UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta are going to show up. So there's that. Oh, yes. Of course, I actually do typically forget about this. You get the 9th anniversary battle stage for Broly and Beast, which of course allows you to get the equips. I've found that stage is not really super difficult compared to a lot of the other fights, right? I've got a lot of the big fights pulled. I mean, we could pull it up. Let me just take a look at it. I haven't done that 9th anniversary battle stage in quite a while. I'll pause in one more second if I can't find it. I can't find it. I'll pause. All right, so here we have the 9th anniversary battle. So they're just going to be continually adding stages to this. I think this is a great thing that Dokkan's going to be doing. All right, so we have Broly. I mean, he's real. He's a real fight. Oh, yeah, I think he just has 1 health bar, though, right? Yeah, 300 million is a lot of HP, though. But, like, I look at that damage he did. Like, that's real damage, right? Like, this is what Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta do, pretty much. I mean, very similar damage. And then here's Beast, who of course has a couple of gimmicks, including a countdown super attack. Yeah, they do that quite a bit with Beast Gohan, right? I, of course, you know, long ago I did the videos and stuff like that in there. I haven't actually run those stages, the anniversary stages, very much. Where's the anniversary one? Yeah, here, because last time I did it, there was EX missions that they added. Along with the Topo celebration, they had EX missions. Yeah, there's the Beast Gohan stage, and then there's the Broly stage. And, I mean, that's the thing that's good about this anniversary, man. So much content. Obviously, Gold players, you guys know about Golden Frieza and Beerus, those 2 fights. They're, like, you know, reasonable level difficulty fights. Beerus, like when it first dropped during Anniversary, Beerus was actually, like, definitely a big threat. But, I mean, Golden Frieza, just the structure of the fight just kind of keeps it from being as challenging as it probably should be. I mean, Golden Frieza... Oh, wow, yeah, he actually hit... Dude, he's weaker than I thought. Like, this is pathetic. For how deep in the fight it is? 1.8? It's just not that strong. I mean, this guy will kill you, but he just doesn't have enough HP. You're going to blow through him instantly, right? Beast Gohan is able to survive this, by the way. As if Beast is not, you know, silly enough. All right, so there's those fights. Then, of course, there's, you know, the Supreme Magnificent Battle. Now, I mean, I do think, you know, the God Goku stage is not really super challenging. I mean, God Goku is only super in for 1.4. But if you don't have tech characters, he could be, you know, sitting there for a while. This is kind of like a, you know, a lower level difficulty stage, but I would consider it like a real stage. the Resurrection F Blues. Blue Kaioken, this is actually a differently designed stage where it's just the one phase, but he does cancel dodge. I like this fight quite a bit. I think this is a good fight to have in the game, and it's a good mission fight as well, which, this fight does have missions, so I think that's good. So that fight, of course, is there. Then we get on to a couple of other stages here. So there's going to be 2 batches. They drop Trunks, they drop Vegeta, Evolution Blue Vegeta, and they drop UI Goku as one batch. Trunks is the hardest by far here. And the reason for this is because Trunks, you get to the second turn for a second phase, and he is locking. So what happens a lot, this is a thing that's happened many times, the character that starts in slot 7 gets instantly locked, instantly supered, and instantly killed with no counterplay. That's what Trunks can do, which is crazy. There's no counter. Like, it's outside of having, using an item or hidden potential system dodge, right? That's a lot of times what happens against this guy because of how devastating his very early locking can be. But he doesn't hit that hard. That is not, at this point, like, this is like lower end damage. I know that might sound insane, but if we're talking difficult fights, this is kind of like mediocre damage. It's like, this is only a threat if he's locking like a character in slot 1 and supering them before they get defense, right? Like, that's pretty much it. Trunks is another one of these bosses, by the way, that has a lot of defense. So you have 2 avenues with that. Either you could crit him because crits ignore defense, or you can lower his defense. Then you get to this guy. This is a 3 million damage super attack boss because he does get 100% right here. He guaranteed stuns you. He does 3 million. And then his normals are doing like 1.5 million afterwards. Trunks is devastating. And one thing that Trunks has is he has one of the highest super attack rates there is. So it is incredibly uncommon for Trunks not to just super attack almost instantly. Trunks does have an interesting gimmick, just like Supreme Magnificent Beast Gohan has the same gimmick. Trunks can only super attack in slot 1, by the way. That's it. He cannot super in slot 2 or 3, just like Beast Gohan in the same event. So if for whatever reason you get incredibly lucky and he doesn't super in slot 1, he will not super in slot 2 or 3. But this Trunks fight is very difficult. This is the fight I just used a lot of times as a showcase stage right here. Evolution Blue Vegeta. Sometimes I use UI Goku as well. These are kind of just like the 2 stages I use just as kind of like generic, 55% rainbow showcases. Now, Vegeta can be devastating. His damage is not crazy, but he's also hitting you with the 80% defensive debuff. So he's hitting way above this. But it's just 2 phases. It's nothing super crazy. He is immune to everything, but Vegeta doesn't have any toxic, crazy gimmicks, right? So you kind of just, it's just kind of like a straight up fight, which makes it not really too crazy. UI Goku, very similar. The first couple of phases of Goku are pretty weak. He doesn't really do anything special, and you could be debuffing him and stuff. UI Sign Goku is capable of doing a little bit more damage. I mean, he's a little bit closer to 2 million since he gets his attack buff right there. And then same thing with UI Goku right here. But this guy, remember, has a massive cooldown. This Goku does not. So it's very likely to see this Goku supering quick and then supering at, near the start every single time. He can also dodge. It's pretty rare I've seen where bosses dodging really like loses runs, but it's something he can do. And then at the end, there's 2 more stages. So we have the Gogeta stage. It can be longer, although now I'm frequently beating this on turn 5, turn 6. But the one thing that can slow you a little bit in here is that these boys seal right there. They seal right here. And then at the very end, he seals as well. 3 of the 5 phases do seal in here. They're weak. They're not really doing anything besides their seal. This character I've seen them kill quite a few characters. Because you could be fighting them again very, very early. Damage is not the craziest, but it can be kind of early. They potentially could do a little bit of damage. This is where this guy starts hitting hard, right? Because I mean, as you guys see, this guy's hitting harder than Mastered UI Goku. And there's still multiple phases left. You can, once you get to Gogeta though, you can attack debuff all 3 of these last phases. Now, I would argue attack debuffing tends to be a tad overrated in this fight. People act like you could just debuff this guy and you don't even have to worry about him, which is not really the case, because oftentimes, especially once you get to these last two phases, he tends to super a lot. And remember, the whole gimmick of kill the boss before they kill you is something that exists in Fantasyland, unless you're using like Beast Gohan or Cell Max or something like that. The boss attacks before you attack, so they're going to dictate what's going to happen. And these guys, again, are going to be supering right away. They're going to be doing, like, Gogeta down here. I mean, bro, he does 12 attacks per turn and typically does 2 AoEs. He's doing a 4 million super. His normals are like damn near 2 million. It's insanity. This blue Gogeta phase is a slot machine. You have no idea what's going to happen because the way he's structured with a 0 cooldown, again, he could have multiple AoEs. It's impossible to predict how this it goes different every single time. In my experience, unless you're running a really elite team with no weaknesses, if Gogeta supers right away first attack and then has multiple AoEs, you're probably not living. Because it's just once he gets this 100% attack buff on his AoEs, I mean, you guys know. Keep in mind, by the way, that his regular normals are 900k, his AoE is 675. So his regular normals do hit quite a bit harder than his AoEs do. I guess they did that to balance him. Really, pretty much the one character who could kind of lock this guy down a bit before he gets going would be LR Omega Shenron. With the passive debuff, and then he could do his active skill as well, which would lower this guy's attack by quite a bit. But, you know, outside of that, Gogeta is going to get the first strikes in before you could attack debuff him. But attack debuff him does help. It's just not like, oh, like people talk about it, I mean, who have no experience doing the fights, and they go, oh, just attack debuff him. Well, yeah, I mean, you can sometimes, but sometimes he just kills you before you do anything. That also is a thing. So there's that. Then there's this annoying fight. This fight is a fight designed to just be annoying for weaker characters, is all this is. Because you get towards the end, I mean, I guess he is hitting a bit harder than I was giving him credit for, actually. Yeah, he is basically a 3 million damage super attack boss. Okay, this Beast Gohan right here. So he does do about 3 million right there. But it's this guy. Yeah, dude. Oh my god, this shit. The Beast Gohan armor. I don't know why it says 1 turn, because that shit is not 1 turn. Beast Gohan, you do 0 damage to him if you do under 3 million damage. It's such a stupid mechanic. Because how often are you getting additional normals, hidden potential system additional normals? Like, all these characters, like, it's so often, and you're just doing 0 to him repeatedly. So sometimes this fight is a fight that can go on longer just because so often you're doing 0 damage to him. The first phase is a complete gimme. This Gohan is completely free. He's fodder. He does nothing. This second phase, Gohan, you know, I mean, if he catches a character in slot 1 or type disadvantage, something like that, maybe he could do a little bit of damage. But this guy is also annoying because he nullifies Ki Blast super attacks. Ki Blast super attacks do 0 damage to him. So this is a fight that's structured where you go from doing 0 damage with Ki Blast supers to doing 0 damage when you do under 3 million damage. And this guy locks. So, I mean, it's off. And this guy only supers in slot 1, by the way. So, you know, you only have to worry about getting supered in slot 1. He could lock a character in slot 1, you're cooked. But I've found that elite teams just don't struggle with this fight whatsoever, right? Whereas Gogeta, again, I would describe it as a slot machine. You know, you don't know what you're going to get when you get to blue Gogeta. Beast, it's not really the same thing. You could just crush him with a good team. And, I mean, he's more, seemingly to me, designed to torment weaker characters, weaker units, is kind of what I see with the Beast Gohan. So there's Supreme Magnificent Battle. Then, of course, there's the movie Memorial. I mean, all of these fights, I probably don't have to spend as much time talking about these. These are all kind of legitimate fights, but they're not, I mean, as tough. I mean, Broly, Chan, Lemo at the end are only doing 1.7, but they do cancel dodge. But, I mean, these numbers aren't really that crazy, obviously. This guy, I mean, does, you know, lower defense as well, along with this. So he's similar to the Evolution Blue Vegeta boss, sort of. Gogeta, he can be pretty threatening at the end, right? 2.1 million plus the 50% defensive debuff. Obviously, that's legitimate. But, I mean, you know, you could dodge and stuff like that. And this is the end of the 4th phase. So, not really super challenging to get through that fight. Then we have the Gammas fight. The Gammas, I mean, Gamma 2 can super attack twice per turn right away. I mean, I guess that's notable. Then the Gammas, I mean, they're able to do some decent damage. You know, they're doing 2 million plus. This is not really too tough though, because they're not doing a super for a couple of turns. Their big countdown super isn't for a couple of turns, so you're probably going to be able to kill them before they're going to drop the Gamma 2 standby on you. And then Gamma 1 at the end isn't really too crazy considering this is at phase 5. Yeah, this is phase 5. This isn't really crazy for phase 5, right? Compare this guy head up to Blue Gogeta. It doesn't really compare. This fight is legitimate. I do this as a showcase fight a lot. So, turn 1, Gohan doesn't do that much damage, but he does stun you. Turn 2, Piccolo is very weak, but he does double super and does seal you. But then Orange Piccolo is legit, because he has a 50% chance to lock you. And, I mean, he's supering for, what, like 2.3 million, something like that? So, Orange Piccolo can definitely be a real threat. And then this Beast Gohan double supers every single turn, while doing, you know, very legitimate damage. You know, doing about, you know, 3 million damage and stuff like that. So, but it is a scripted fight. Like, you know exactly where his super attacks are going to be always. So that certainly makes things a little bit easier there. So there's that. We have the new stage of Cell Max. In my opinion, this is going to be the hardest fight on Global right here. I do think that this is the hardest fight. You can, as his HP thresholds go down, you could start hitting him with debuffs and stuff like that, right? So he has essentially 3 different... I guess it's 3 different phases. In the first phase, he has immunity to everything. Well, okay, let's read this. I don't know... Maybe this is true and just like revives and stuff like that could mess with this. I guess that might be what it is. Because in my very first run ever, I did stun him with the Gamma's standby. But anyway, he disables debuffs, right away. And then after a couple of turns, you're able to debuff him, which is good because like once you get to this is insanity. He gives himself 80% damage and lowers your defense by 30%. That is a god combo. On top, like, he's a 3 million super boss who also does this. This is, like, the most devastating super attack any boss has. Like, any legitimate, like, head-to-head boss, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, you could say, like, Golden Frieza's 5 million countdown super is scarier, but that's not, like, a legitimate super. It's just a countdown shit you're gonna avoid every time. This is something he's peppering you with. And, yeah, oh, yeah, look. Okay, so at the start of the fight, he has a 40% chance to super. That is really high. And then it gets to 8. Yes, dude. I've noticed this. Yeah, it gets to 80%. So at the end of the fight, he's instantaneously supering you. You could debuff him and stuff like that towards the end, but this is a rough fight. You'll see. The more you do this, the more it's just so clear to me that things are more likely to go wrong in here than they are against all the other fights. Like, I know it's easy, you know, I've done it a lot, to just say it's a gimmick fight. You could debuff him. But, I mean, isn't it harder when it means that you lose more often, right? Like, this is a fight where I lose more often in this fight than other fights. What does that mean? It means it's harder. So, I would say this is the second hardest fight in the game currently. The only harder fight would be the new fight we got on JP recently, against Evolution Blue Vegeta and Blue Kaioken Goku, this one right here. Only because their structure is very similar to Cell Max, except they can't be debuffed and they double super turn 1. So they're just a little bit harder. But yeah, this is the toughest fight. This is going to have missions as well, which of course are you know, going to be kind of difficult, I think, for some players. Like the extreme class mission, stuff like that. I mean, you can use a lot of items, though. They give 9 stones for that, not bad. And then finally, there's Red Zone Movie Boss Rush. This is a supremely long fight. The first 4 phases are gimme. Turles, Slug, Cooler, Android 13 do almost nothing. Bojack can be a little bit scary because he does lock and seal every turn. His damage is low at this point. 1.4 is not scary damage for how deep in the fight it is. But he does lock, so he could take advantage of that. Janemba is so pathetically weak, he kills the momentum of the fight. Janemba does nothing. Once you go into his rage mode, he does hit pretty hard, 2.1, plus he debuffs you. But here's the thing, you could seal him for some reason. I don't understand why you could seal him. And then Broly is scary at the end, but he doesn't dodge cancel anymore. They took that away. He does double super for a raw 3 million, and his normals are 1 million. But he doesn't get a buff right here. No super attack buff. and he also does not dodge cancel anymore. But those are a lot of the major fights. Again, the 9th anniversary with all the content it gets is good. The Jiren burst mode is part of this. I think Angel Golden Freeze has a burst mode as well, right? Just kind of going through all this stuff. There's the UI Goku Evolution Blue Vegeta EZAs. Oh yeah, this event where you grind up the water bottles to exchange for items, including equips for a lot of the earlier superhero characters. There's this event right here, which I think gives good link levels. The Cell Max stage, Red Zone Movie Boss Rush, EZA areas, of course, for Frieza and Beerus. New stages there. Then, of course, there's the Beast Gohan Dokkan event, medals. Dragon Ball Super Movie Memorial, they bring back this event where you can get equips. The EZA for Blue Kaioken Evolution Blue Vegeta. This is a link level event right here. I believe it's for... Is it for superhero characters and super bosses characters, I believe? Are the two stages. It's one of those link level events. Like the Metal Cooler event from the 2022 Worldwide Download Celebration, stuff like that. For Angel Golden Frieza Burst Mode, a second stage will be added to this, global players, later on in the anniversary. And then just a bunch of events returning, Elder Kai. And then down here, we're getting into all the stuff that's on global part 1 as well. Oh, I should mention this right here, too. This event right here, for global got both stages right away. JP only just got stage 2 of this with the last celebration. So Global did kind of get this stage in at a perfect time. So Global is now caught up with this event. So that's good. I think that this is mostly a tutorial event, just to teach players about how the territory boss mechanics work. I think that's the intent for this. Not really super tough, just kind of showing what territories can do to players. I think that's kind of like the intended purpose there. And then, we get to the Broly-chan, Lemo EZA and the sub-EZAs and stuff like that. And there we go. That is what the 9th anniversary is going to look like, global players. Definitely, obviously, very exciting to have all this stuff, returning and stuff like that. I think very, very, very exciting to see it all, right? So, let me know what you guys think about everything going on with the 9th anniversary. I guess we're still waiting on the global data download for Broly and Gogeta. Hey, it should happen soon. I'll do a video when the global data download does happen.